Good day everyone! To review all functionality of Terraform, we cannot avoid the topic of Terraform Workspaces. They shouldn't appear on the technical part of the exam, according to the official documentation, but can be part of the multiple choice questions. On this video, we will implement Terraform Workspaces and apply them on the different configurations, from which you will get the fundamental knowledge of workspaces. Let's start as usual from the definition. Terraform Workspace is an isolated environment for the managing infrastructure, using a single configuration directory, allowing multiple environments to share the same codebase with separated state files. To keep it simple, Workspace is a feature which allows us to decouple the state file, and from this apply the same Terraform configuration scripts on the multiple environments. By default, when you apply the Terraform, it creates locally file Terraform TF state. We already know that. Now imagine the situation when you need to duplicate the same scripts on other environment, region, or just with the different inputs. And exactly for such cases, workspaces could help us. You can provide during the implementation some other inputs, and Terraform Workspace will put it to the separate state file according to the selected workspace. Like the example, you can have also the dev environment state file or production. This is super useful feature. Like you could operate in a single command line with the multiple environments without fear to overwrite states. Between workspaces also support remote state files, for example in S3 bucket. And don't worry, we will talk about it in the next section of this course. To use workspaces, we need to remember these 5 commands. Terraform Workspace New, which will create a new workspace. Terraform Workspace Select. This command allows us to switch between workspaces. Terraform Workspace List, which provides full list of available workspaces. Terraform Workspace Show, it displays the name of the current workspace where you are. And Terraform Workspace Delete, to delete workspace from your inventory. In a minute we will check them all, but before that let's highlight the most significant points. The first is that Terraform by default using the default workspace. So even if you are not using the Terraform Workspace feature, Terraform in the background always has enabled default workspace and working with it. You could actually check it locally, just write down the show command. Each workspace maintains the separate state file, like this is the main purpose of the workspaces. It resolves partially problem with the parallel execution over couple of environments, like you know that Terraform locking changes according to the state file, which means you with your colleagues could implement the same configuration in a parallel, but on the different workspaces. And the flexibility with different variable values and configurations. So let's have a look at it in a practice. Here we will implement the basic example of the workspaces with the TF-vars files, but also implement more dynamic version. Right now we are on an empty main TF file. First do the declaration of new variable environment. Type set to string and default value on default. In this video, we are going to use the AWS SSM parameter to keep the simplicity, but in the same time demonstrate you all power of the workspaces. So declare it. Call it like this. Name will be consistent from the two parts, variable environment and the parameter string. type string, and the value hard-coded now just on the default. Do fmt to make our code pretty, and do the init command to download AWS provider together with the plan to watch on the changes. Okay, have a look. If we will apply it now, Terraform will create the SSM parameter on the AWS parameter store with the name default parameter and the hard-coded value on the default. So on this step, let's connect workspaces. Do first command Terraform Workspace list to get a list of all available workspaces. From the result, we can see that we have only the default workspace, and the star symbol before default means that this is selected workspace. To prove it, use another workspace command show and confirm that the default workspace is selected. Okay, now as we know the workspace name which we are using, we can replace the hard-coded value for the parameter on the workspace variable. Just set terraform.workspace. Do plan again. And we will have the absolutely same result. The value is sensitive in a plan, so we can just do the apply with the auto approve flag. Great, state file is in a place. If you will open it, we will find the SSM parameter on the resource block and the value default like was hard-coded. Go check it on AWS console. Switch to the System Manager and select Parameter Store. Our default parameter is in a place with the default value. Okay, now for this example, we want to implement same parameter but on different environments. Create dev tf-vars file and set k environment with the value dev. And replicate the same actions for the production one. So now we have two variables files for the production and development environments. But if you will try to implement them right away, Terraform will try to replace already existing parameter. And to avoid this, let's do the command Terraform Workspace new dev. And the workspace has been created, and even automatically switch it on it. Do again list command to double check this, and do the show command to prove that we are switched to the workspace. Awesome, now we are working on dev workspace, so technically we could do the apply command. Just of course with providing the dev variables file. And here we go, new resource has been created. That means we didn't touch the previous one. The name also changed, dev parameter. So to find proper resource states, we cannot refer anymore to the standard Terraform tf state file. Like the Terraform creates the new folder for the non-default environments, call it Terraform tf state d, and inside our dev workspace with the state file. expected AWS SSM parameter, but name is the dev parameter already, and the value dev. And this is really cool, like in the case if you need one or more environments, you need just to do the new command and apply it with the proper variables file. And there is. Now we have one more state file for the prod, and the values which are properly specified. That's how workspaces are working. We have the same Terraform scripts implemented over the multiple three environments: default, dev, and the prod. Go to AWS console to verify. Three parameters are in a place, same like workspaces, together with the proper values. Now in this stage we are done. We implemented the basic functionality of Terraform Workspaces. In the next step, I would show you the example how it can be organized more dynamically, without any variables files. For this, instead of the variable block, define locals. Set the new one, call it workspace values, type will be map, and put here all workspaces which we want, dev with type map, and inside the list of values, environments set on dev. Let's change also the value for our parameters. And go with one more input, tags. K environment pointed to the dev, and K owner. For example, for the dev environment is responsible DevOps department. Do the same map for the prod, environment, value for parameter, and map of tags. Tag environment on prod, and the owner let it be SRE department. So stay only the default one, with the same parameters. Environment default, value default workspace, and the tags with the environment, and the owner tag that no team assigned. Great, now we have all three workspaces in a single local. To get them dynamically, let's create a new local, call it current values, with the lookup built-in function inside. It will allow us during the implementation select the proper environment. Put on the start the place from where we are taking the values. On our case it's workspace values local. After the value which we are looking for in a map, exactly on this place we are going to use the Terraform Workspace variable. And here we can also add one more optional default value, on the case if we have some workspace, the name which is not in the list, pointed on the default. So again, logic is the next. We are trying to find our map workspace values the Terraform workspace. If it's matching, we are using it, but if no, we are taking the default value. Perfect, let's do the changes on the resource block. Change name on the current values local, pointed to the environment. For example, if it will be the default environment, it will pick up the default environment value. Parameter value. Logic is the same, just change the last attribute on value. And add tags. Again, pointed to the same current values on attribute tags. And we have it. Delete all tf-vars files, like we are not going to use them anymore. Check the workspace where we are right now. Okay, we are on the prod, so go with the apply. Whoops, it's trying to override and cannot do this, because we didn't specify the proper flag. Go fix this quickly. On resource level, set override flag with the true value and do again. It's implemented. The one thing which I have missed is the name. It's still dev. Oh, wrong value only on a local. Change it and do again apply. Awesome, it's replaced the parameter because the name was changed. So we can move with the other workspaces. Go with dev, switch on it, right now we are on the dev workspace, so now we can just run apply again, without any changes in a command. Here we go. Like before, we are using also the default workspace. Let's replicate it here. Select it and apply again. As you can see, for each workspace, Terraform has created one more file with the backup version of the state file. So try to remember about this option on exam, but use it only on emergency cases. Always verify your changes before they apply to avoid any mistakes. Now we can check the parameters on AWS console. Back to list, click on any, and we see the new value. New tags with the environment and owner. And this is applied correctly for all parameters, depends from the selected workspace. Dev with the assigned DevOps owners, and the prod with the SRE. To close this video, let's clean up all created resources. Change command from apply to destroy. And reproduce the same for all three workspaces. Dev, run destroy, and prod. Destroy with the auto approve flag. To drop all created workspaces, use the delete command. Before that, switch to the default and do the Terraform Workspace delete over the dev and production. Verify that list of the workspaces is empty. Yeah, so technically we don't need anymore any from these files, except maybe the main TF. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching and see you on the next one.